Hey, welcome to the Micheaux Mission, Two Men, One Podcast. Every black film ever made. My name is Len, a.k.a. the Bat Tribble. And as always, I am joined by my partner.
Hey, this is Vincent Williams.
Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, if you are watching us during the live stream, we've got a very special show.
We do.
For you this evening. That is right, ladies and gentlemen, as we are going to be reviewing Origin from Ava DuVernay and starring Aunjanue Ellis-Taylor, new film that came out, I think, late 2023 or early 2024.
December, something.
But a very fascinating film that we are going to be reviewing for you tonight. And we have two very special returning guests to the mission to help us review it tonight, ladies and gentlemen. They're returning to the Micheaux Mission, but this is their first time on YouTube.
Yes, on camera.
As they discovered when they walked into the studio.
Like, oh, we need lipstick. We need some things. Yes.
This ain't the kitchen? Where we at? It's a whole new day, ladies and gentlemen. And lest I mispronounce their names, because they have, you'll see why in a second. I'm going to let our lovely friends here of the mission introduce themselves, starting with the young lady next to Vincent over there.
Hi, Vincent.
Hi.
My name's Denise. And I like movies.
Okay. Well, you're in the right
That's
place.
like being in one of those meetings. My name's Denise, and I'm a film watcher.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Was there more I was supposed to say?
Not if you don't want
As
to.
much
Denise.
or as little as you want.
Oh, well, Philadelphia's home now. We home now. I've been in Philly for 30 some years, and I've been in journalism for a long time. And now I teach. I don't teach about film, teach journalism as well. And I love that we got invited back for a second time to be on the Micheaux Mission. And I'm serious when I say that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And now you.
I am also Denise with an A. And I have known this Denise for quite some time. And it's been a wild ride. We teach students together. We teach visual communication and photography and video and how to do storytelling. And so this Denise we've been rocking for a while. Yes. And so it's she's the friend that I can call and be like, I got a crazy idea. She's like, say more. So she's that friend. And so we talk about movies all the time, and we recite lines all the time. Yes. So it is exciting for us to be back here because we get to talk about movies.
Yes.
Well, we're very excited to
Yes,
have
you're
you
certainly
back.
in the right place.
Yes, and it's been a long time coming. Just between you and me, Denise, we've been trying to get this one back here for a minute.
I know it.
And it's like, you have to come back because Denise has to select her movie. She's like, she don't need to select nothing. I say when we coming back. I'm like,
That's what you sound like in his head.
Right.
Who that was,
Thank you.
but
I don't either.
I don't.
I don't know who that is either. I don't know him either. I'm sorry, wrong movie.
it's going to be like this all night, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes,
I promise you. I promise you. We'll get serious when it's time to talk about Origin. But until then, we're going to have a good time for each and every one of you out there who are watching us as we are streaming live from Young Junk, Philadelphia's premier video podcast palace here in Manayunk, to all points north, south, east, and west, on Facebook, on Twitter, as well as on YouTube, where all of the missionaries are out there in the chat. Hello, missionaries.
Good evening, one and all.
All right.
I like that, missionaries.
I know.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Y'all not colonizing people, are you? I'm sorry.
See, she's already starting.
Colin.
Well, when I hear missionaries,
Sharing our thoughts and beliefs and convincing people to follow our ways. In
kinda like-
exchange for our tax-free status and some over their property. Oftentimes, we give them suggestions on what to name their children.
But we wouldn't call that colonizing.
Such an ugly word.
sorry.
Anyway, We're going to get right into it, ladies and gentlemen, because a little thick, you're in time to check out all of the features that we do here. Yeah, because it's been a while since you've been on the show.
It has been a long time.
It's a whole new show.
It's a whole new show, set, everything.
All right.
Yes.
We are going to start things from hearing from you, ladies and gentlemen, your emails, or as we like to call them,
missives from the missionaries.
So what else is going on, Lynn?
we have emails, Vincent.
Ooh, missives from the missionaries.
Right now on the stream. Yeah. Dylan.
Ooh, missives from the missionaries.
Missives from the missionaries, ladies and gentlemen. Number one, Vincent, we have an email from Belinda Silber.
Hey, what's up, Belinda?
The subject line is recovery.
Okay.
Hello, guys. I was a very big fan of Jonathan Major's work.
Yeah.
First time I saw him was The Last Black Man in San Francisco, which was our introduction to him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you think there is any way that he can recover his career? It worked for Robert Downey Jr. Do you think it would work for Jonathan? Thank you, Belinda. That's an interesting email, and especially interesting to because of just because we're all movie lovers, but we all, especially Denise and Denise, have backgrounds in journalism of a sort. So, what do you think about his chances on doing a recovery of his career? Well, do you think his career is lost totally?
I don't think it's not necessarily lost. I think if he doesn't do things that continue to feed the news cycle and give it some time, he may be able to work his way back into doing some work. Will he be the superstar it looked like he was on the way to being? That I have a different answer for that. I don't think that would be as easy, but you can never say it's not possible.
That's true.
Wesley Snipes has gotten a few more films, but he never got back to where he was, and his was about money. And since this is dealing with a whole different issue that's a lot more sensitive, I think he's got a hill to climb.
Yeah. With Wesley, I think what hurt Wesley also was that at the time in his career when he took his downfall, he had already, maybe not apex, but he had been at a certain high. So that means it's such more a precipitous fall.
Yeah.
And that's even higher to climb up for. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a slow burn. It's gonna be like crock pot kind of burn. It's gonna take a while, and it's gonna take a really smart team to reframe who he is and what he has to offer. But he's gonna look different when he comes back. He looked swole up and plump and juicy, and roses thrown on him and all this stuff. He was just escalating really quickly, and it all stopped. And so I think he will have aged. I think he will have matured. If he can make that transition, I think it's going to take some humility on his part. But it's going to be a slow burn.
And he better choose his relationships carefully and be whatever he needs to be in a healthy way in relationships.
I wonder if they're on their lunch break at the Piggly Wiggly. We should probably call and see what Nate Parker and Isaiah Washington think about this subject.
Gosh.
I mean, that's a good point, and neither of them had reached the heights that Jonathan Majors was reaching.
Yeah.
But you bring up a good point, because in my mind,
because she mentioned Robert Downey Jr., but first of all, he's Robert Downey Jr., and if you know about his lineage, the family he comes from, and I don't know how to put this delicately. He's white.
he is. You're right.
Is there a reason you have to say someone's white delicately?
I mean, because it's like, oh, well, Robert Downey Jr. had a comeback. And even him, all jokes aside, that took how many years?
He took
famously, they had Terrence Howard with him on Iron Man because they were hedging their bets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Terrence Howard was like the big
right. He was the safe, stable actor in the first Iron Man.
Right.
And then they kind of, he kind of went from there. But
I wonder how much of a difference it makes thinking about Robert Downey Jr., as far as I remember, most of his problems had to deal with his addiction.
Yes.
To drugs.
Yes.
So it's kind of like, like these self-inflicted wounds
Yes.
that he was doing upon himself that he had to fight to come back, because he famously had come back for a minute because he had became like a star on Ally McBeal for a minute and then took another fall.
Right.
So the difference, and even with Wesley Snipes, it was like you said, it was money, it was his taxes. This is against women, and it puts a different spin on it.
Yeah. And I think addiction back in those days was looked at differently. Today it's looked at as a disease, right?
Yeah.
There's all kinds of help and program and whatnot, rightly so. But back in those days, addiction was dirty and nobody talked about it. We hid Uncle Joey behind the counter, right? Like
That's right. Yep.
It was very much hidden, and now it's like you can live with addiction and thrive. During and after,
and not be judged the exact same way.
Right.
Exactly.
I hope he makes it back, because I do think he's a pretty amazing actor.
I'm still a fan of his work. Like his personal life doesn't retroactively affect his performance in something like The Last Black Man in San Francisco.
Nah.
Which, as we talked about when it came out, was an extraordinary debut. Mm-hmm. So
That's a hard question, though, sometimes, because, like, I think about karaoke.
Okay.
I like karaoke.
Okay.
I can't sing, but I love to sing.
The Lord knows your heart.
And a person I know who does the karaoke, who, the KJ, does not play R. Kelly.
Sure.
So, and he wrote some amazing and sang some amazing music. But won't do it retroactively either. And so that becomes a hard thing sometimes, because Michael Jackson wasn't convicted. So that's my way to say, okay, we can play some Michael Jackson.
Right.
But that's a tough one.
See, R. Kelly is hard, though, because so much of his art
What's wrapped up
intersects with what he did. Like, I talk to my own students about, something like the cover of Aaliyah's debut album. It's like, it's called Age Ain't Nothing But a Number. And then he's standing in the background in the shadows.
Right. And she's a baby.
Right. He calls himself the Pied Piper. It's like, do you know what the Pied Piper did? Like, he kidnapped kids. So it gets a little bit more difficult.
True.
But look, who is it? Pearl Cleage? Pearl Cleage wrote Mad at Miles, what year? 1980, whatever. And it's like, I still listen to Miles Davis.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm very careful about that because I know
it's difficult.
It's like your conviction only goes as far as who you like.
Well, and your own experience, right?
And your own
experience. If you've had this
True.
as a personal experience in your origin story, you like how I weaved in origin in there. If you have this in your origin story, you may feel strong, right? Extremely strong, and there is no leeway there, right? And so I think it's based on experience as well.
All right. Thank you, Belinda, for that email.
Yeah, thanks, Belinda.
Yeah, Belinda, that's good.
We got another email, Vincent, from Corey P.
What's up, Corey?
The coffee versus Claudine debate. Hi, Len and Vince. Happy March and Women's History Month. I watch Black women-led films to celebrate the month of March. Before I get into the initial post, it is still mind-boggling to me that you guys have not covered both Waiting to Exhale or Foxy Brown since Foxy Brown turns 50 this year. Well, the year's not over, Corey.
Dog, it's March.
I could have sworn you guys covered those. No,
we did not.
I remember how both of you were conversing about Black women representation in the 70s by comparing the movies Coffee and Claudine. The question was complex to me because it can be viewed from different perspectives. While the initial and ideal answer from the two was Claudine, I do think Coffee and Claudine go neck and neck. Claudine was the best choice because it represented working class Black women and showcasing a possible two-parent household between Rupert and Claudine. Coffee also showed that Black women can be a voice for their community and loved ones by doing what is right. which in this case was eliminating drugs out of the community and all of the black men dealing them. Think the black...
Did you add that part? Or was
Yes, I did. Think of the Black Panther Party and the black women involved serving their communities. It was a thought-provoking conversation nonetheless. Thank you, Corey, for that email. You know, we talked about it a little bit to that debate about the depiction of black women in the 70s with Coffee and Claudine. I think you would have to add, now having seen it, Sounder, and the way that Cicely Tyson comes off in that film is just this strong matriarch who doesn't give in to anything. Like her husband is taken away to jail, and she's like, all right, we got to keep the farm going.
Yeah. Black women been tired for a while.
Yeah. Well, you know, I forget the specifics of the debate, but you know, I'm a huge proponent of Coffee. And it's funny because there's a moment in Claudine where, you know, one of the several times that Rupert it ghosts her, and she's in the apartment by herself, and she's sort of, you know, kind of dancing, and you see it all on her face. And, you know, I love the extraordinary end of Coffee when she's on the beach, and you can see the adrenaline kind of drains out of her, and she's just very vulnerable. And I see both of them kind of parallel in a weird way. So that, you know, I think they work together really well. And then, you know, like you just said, Cicely Tyson and Sounder is fantastic.
What do you think about the representation of black women in the movies in the 70s? Or are you a fan of Coffee or Claudine?
I don't recall either movie, so I have homework. So I will defer to this Denise.
So I didn't see Coffee until I was a grown-up because my mother wouldn't let me go see it. I was probably just reaching my double digits and when that came out. But I was a fan of Pam Grier secretly. I didn't want my parents to know because she represented a sex symbol, and I wasn't supposed to, you know, really pay attention to that, I guess. So I saw that one later, and I just felt like she was so powerful, and I love that in that character. And when I look at Diane Carroll in Claudine, as she was in, wasn't she Julia? Julia. That she was kind of every woman, but a strong every woman and a struggling every woman, and every woman who knew how to also find some joy. And yes, she bubble bathed with lemon fresh joy. Frankly, I didn't know that people didn't do that. But anyway,
We used Dawn.
so I really did like what the women characters were doing at that time, even though they were very sexualized and they were in a box in some ways. They were present. They were beginning to be present, and they were present with kind of a Black Power energy. And so I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. And I love Cicely Tyson in Sounder. I watched that a zillion times as a kid.
Did you?
Yes.
I've only just seen it the first time for the show, and it's an amazing movie.
Remind me afterwards to tell you the movie I saw for the first time. I won't say it here because I might lose my black card.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, I like that tease, don't you?
You can't.
Oh,
You kind of
Lord.
have to tell us now.
Yeah, you have to, Denise.
I never watched it all the way through.
What?
I watched little pieces of it through the years, and I finally sat down a few weeks ago and watched it from the rooter to the tutor. That's my hint.
Oh,
Boomerang?
Boomerang?
No, but it's that flavor. Friday.
What?
Oh.
See how y'all do?
Damn!
Well, you didn't hurt anybody but yourself.
Right.
No, I got to enjoy it now.
Okay.
I already am a fan of Cube, and he was an excellent writer and filmmaker back then.
Yeah.
So, yes. At the time, I thought it was just going to be buffoonery, and that's why I didn't watch it.
I can see from the outside looking in thinking that.
That's why I didn't watch it.
Yeah.
But there are a few things I'm like, let's go back.
Sure.
I had to do that with some music, some rap music that I decided I wasn't going to like before I heard it.
Okay, that's fair.
No, I feel you. I feel you in that. And now you are a fan of Friday.
Yes.
Have you seen the sequels?
Not yet, but my cousins tell me that it probably may not
Yeah,
be
you
worth
don't
my
have
time.
to. No.
It's good.
Yeah, you don't
The first one is all you need.
The first is
to maintain
all-
black card status.
Yeah,
That's
you
all you
good.
need.
That's all you
How are we
need.
talking black card status and we're going to be talking about origin? Anyway,
Oh yeah,
Yes.
true. Facts.
why did I
Facts.
bring that up? I'm
Because
sorry,
we're leading
Isabel.
into the
good transition.
That's right. We're always moving towards that. Always be closing.
Yeah. Is there a cast card? I'm sorry.
Stop it.
Continuing. We got an email, Vincent, from Michael Sykes.
Hey, what's up, Mike?
A short and sweet question about music.
All right.
Hey, Len and Vincent, this is a music question. I'll keep it short and sweet. I was wondering if these bands or groups need their solo artists, or does the solo artist need them? I think this is much in the way that we were talking about.
Probably LTD.
LTD. Yeah.
They needed him.
Yeah, but I think he needed them too.
Like the best Jeffrey Osborne is
with LTD.
is with LTD.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
And you never think about it until you think about it.
what's the one with I wrote a love song and goes something like this? Do 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 do. What's that one?
That's LTD.
That's LTD.
Okay then. All right.
Okay.
I still like when he comes up to me with the mic when you go to see him in these
Oh, yeah,
small
woo, woo,
venues.
woo.
Yeah,
Oh yeah. I mean, he gives a good show.
yeah.
No one was knocking he gives a
But he
good
didn't
show.
do any hits after that, huh?
No, not many. I mean,
Last
he
Night I
had
Loved
some.
a Stranger, Love Ballad. I mean,
yeah.
come on.
I love Jeffrey
I
Osborne.
mean, come on.
I never went to see LTD when he left, but I went to see him.
Right.
Well, nobody went to see LTD after that. Did you? No, I think so. All right, so here we go.
Who we got?
Lenny Williams when he was with Tower of Power.
I don't think Tower of Power needs Lenny Williams.
Or do I?
Okay.
They are a tower of power.
Yeah.
It's in the name.
Fair enough. We talked about Jeffrey Osborne. Mm-hmm. Lionel Richie with the Commodores.
Lionel Richie doesn't need the Commodores, but I like the Commodores' music better.
Really?
I'm trying to think of Commodores Lionel Richie.
do.
What was
Brick House.
Oh, wait a minute.
okay?
But I don't even think of Lionel Richie when I think of Brick House.
I don't either.
Yeah, because he's not the.
No.
He's not.
I
The,
think I
the lead
was
voice.
back then.
Yeah.
A brick house.
But Brick House, that'd make you hip dip in a minute. So that's
Yeah, but it's not Lionel.
no, it's not.
So what else? So what else is Commodores?
What else? What is?
I'm trying to think of Lionel Richie Commodores music.
Yeah, because I can't recall.
Pretty sure Zoom is a Commodore song.
That is. It is. Zoom.
Oh yeah, Zoom. Okay, all right, there you go.
Can somebody hit me with a number?
Because you can hear his voice in that.
Somebody do a.
If we do, we have to pay.
Oh.
That's the truth.
That's real.
Yeah, that's,
Oh, that's
that's,
What about,
that's the
what
truth.
about if you sing it off key and it doesn't sound like the same song?
Go ahead, Denise.
No. Yeah, we actually have gotten in trouble.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I won't do that.
And now we're on YouTube. YouTube. Really
yeah,
doesn't
they
like
don't,
it.
yeah, they don't play.
Don't play. But outside of Zoom, can you think of a hit Commodores with Lionel Richie? Every Lionel Richie hit I'm thinking of is
Yeah, Hello was him.
I think
Yeah.
When Tom's a Lady is the Commodores.
that is.
okay. That's two.
I'm pretty
two.
sure that is.
I mean, the man's got like about
Right.
80 hits, and you're reaching for two that were with the Commodores.
and he's still relevant. And
Yeah. I think you got to pick.
All right, so he didn't need the
Yeah.
Commodores.
Right.
Charlie Wilson
Oh
and
yeah,
the Gap
sail
Band.
on. Somebody said sail on. Yeah, see,
sail on.
I don't know. This might. I'm gonna just say
Jesus
it.
is love.
You don't like Charlie Wilson, so
I don't like Charlie Wilson solo music.
me neither.
So
What
You
don't
know.
you like about it?
It sounds plastic.
it sounds like.
a good description.
Speaking of the artist, it sounds like there was blood in the water with R. Kelly,
Well, that was a lot of the hits.
and he said there's a spot open. So I just
Okay.
Now that's me myself speaking personally.
And that's me myself speaking personally.
In my
And
opinion.
I've seen Charlie Wilson do a show
Right.
on his own, and you know, God bless the man. He still gets on stage and he's rocking his.
And I don't knock his hustle. Like I'm actually happy for him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that he picked up that R. Kelly.
Because he's from an
money.
era where they made no money.
That's and I was just
Right.
about to say
They
that.
got
He's
very
probably-
little royalties
Right.
and all of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm never going to listen to any Charlie Wilson music.
Well, I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna listen to it, but I just prefer
Sure.
Gap Band.
Right.
That's where I would go with it.
All right.
How about we talked about JT from Kool and the Gang? Maurice White and Philip Bailey with Earth, Wind, and Fire. Did Maurice White go
I was just
solo?
about to say, what was Maurice White's solo song?
You know what? I think he did I think he did try and release a solo album.
I have no memory of it.
And neither does he.
Yeah.
But,
Oh, dang.
but I think he did. Now,
Kind of unfair. Like, who are you going to pick over Earth, Wind, and Fire?
Earth, Wind, and Fire. My gosh.
Like, you're not going to pick anybody over Earth, Wind,
I
and
know
Fire.
it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
It don't even matter.
First concert I got to go to without an adult staying with me.
Nice.
I was
Really?
about 14. Dropped us off at Cobo Arena. Cobo
Nice.
Hall, it was called at the
a
time.
good show.
In Detroit.
She still remembers.
Yeah, we snuck lighters in so that we could hold them up. You know, we literally held lighters up at the end of the show.
You had to sneak in a lighter?
Yeah, I was 14.
Oh, so you had to
was-
sneak in a
yeah.
lighter. So not like everybody was sneaking a
I
lighter.
have no idea what other people doing. I know I was sneaking a lighter.
And that was dangerous behavior back then.
That was. You're a bit of an outlaw.
Right? A rebel from the
Wild streets.
You're a wild girl.
And I got my Pam Grier t-shirt on.
Afro
See,
picked
right
out.
there.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you, Michael, for that
thank you,
email.
Michael.
We got one more email, Vincent, and this
Okay.
is from Michael Lockett.
Hey, what's up, Michael?
Len and Vince, another great episode, top to bottom. I'm not sure if you ever heard the story of how the song I Feel For You, written and performed originally by Prince on his debut album, came to be a reignition point for Chaka Khan's career. But here's the short version. Prince, on their first face-to-face meeting, pranked her and stole studio time. To make up for it, he told his manager he'd write her a hit someday. A revamped I Feel For You was the perfect vehicle to go on the Breakin' soundtrack. The pair became friends and years later would be instrumental in the album that Vince mentioned. I think that's the album.
Yeah, Coming to My House.
Right.
That's the 90s Chaka Khan album that Prince produced.
So there you go.
I never knew that story.
Me either.
Me neither.
It's good to have people around. It's, all jokes aside, like I never really like that fan word. So missionaries, because like they're all really everybody's really smart.
Yeah.
So
My mission time travels took me first back to, watch this. Just a little backstory. Michael Lockett is a recent fan of the show. So he will watch our live stream. So he's up to date, but then he's listening to old episodes
I like him.
in real time. So check this out.
okay.
My mission time travels took me first back to Friday
Ooh.
and then to Running Scared.
Okay.
I loved them both then when I first saw them, and I still love these movies today. I really can't pick two better movies that show friendship, bromance, or whatever people want to call it in its most sincere form. I think the vast majority of black men have a friend who reminds them of Craig, Smokey, Ray, or Danny. Billy Crystal, in my opinion, gets a black honorarium for his role. He wasn't trying to be black. He was a genuine friend to a black man. That's a good point. Two quick questions. Are these two pairings two of the most memorable in cinematic history? Do they rank with pairings in films like Tommy Lee Jones and Will Smith in Men in Black, Charles Grodin, Robert De Niro in Midnight Run, Tony Curtis and Jack Lemmon in Some Like It Hot, Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi in The Blues Brothers, or Eddie Murphy and Nick Nolte in 48 Hours? All the best, Michael. And I think the two pairings that he's talking about are Billy Crystal and Gregory Hines and
Ice Cube and Chris Tucker.
Chris Tucker. Well, they're certainly not as iconic because both of these parents are just one and dones, even though a few of the ones that he mentioned are one and done. But I think it's interesting that Cube and Chris Tucker, not even just the Friday movies, pretty much every movie that Cube has done since then has been trying to kind of like
He's
rekindle,
chasing it.
chase that chemistry with someone. Because he didn't even, as much as he thought he did, he didn't even have it with
Mike Epps.
Mike Epps
Yeah.
or Kevin Hart. He did a couple of movies with Kevin Hart,
Yeah.
and I don't think they had the same
Yeah.
connection. There was just something special about those two. And Quiet as Kept, I don't think Chris Tucker had.
And Jackie Chan don't really. I mean, that's a whole different energy.
Yeah.
I would throw Bad Boys in there.
Okay, Will.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that had great chemistry.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and they keep making that movie.
Number 4 comes out
Yeah.
in June.
Number 4 comes out. Yeah. That's a good one. That's a good. I think that a missed opportunity is Eddie and Martin because they had great chemistry in life.
Yeah.
I thought. I don't know.
They're still alive.
There's still time.
There is, but Eddie's at a different speed right now. Eddie,
You got to get Eddie out the house. And I don't know what gets Eddie out the house, frankly, both literally and unfortunately figuratively in a lot of these roles.
yeah.
Like you can tell Eddie is thinking about that other half of the chicken sandwich in the fridge. You know, like you can always tell, like you're at work and you talk to somebody, you can tell they're thinking about that other half. Like you go to Hoagie Fest and you get one, but you want to eat the whole hoagie at lunch. So it's in the fridge and you know, they're like, I can't wait till I get home.
And they didn't hear a word you said.
Right.
Oh my God.
And I feel like that's been Eddie Murphy since Dreamgirls.
Well, he was so hurt by.
Not
he thought
winning.
yeah.
Yeah.
But that
I
wasn't-
mean,
he
except for
wasn't
Dolomite, of
great.
course.
He wasn't good in that to me.
You didn't think he was good in Dreamgirls?
Oh, here we go again.
I thought he was hilarious.
Really? You didn't like him in
This is
Dreamgirls?
what y'all said when I said I didn't like a certain character in The Color Purple. You were like, what? Yeah, I didn't like Eddie Murphy in Dreamgirls.
What about what?
I felt like he was. I felt like I saw him acting.
You thought he was pushing.
Yeah, I felt like I saw him acting the whole time.
He wasn't
He
the
did not. I couldn't. Yeah, I wasn't able to dispel. I couldn't separate from knowing who he was in that film. I was watching Eddie Murphy the whole time.
Wow.
See, I see that, but I think to a degree that's what he was trying to put out. That this was, but for another living a life a different way, that could have been him the way he went.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong.
But I shouldn't have to know that.
Oh, that's fair.
Did you like him
Yeah.
in Dolomite Is My Name?
I don't think I watched it. Look at the title. You know who I am.
Well, it's not a Dolomite.
Not a Dolomite movie though. Now you judge.
Right, you can't. So
I mean, Dolomite's in the
This is why
title
you have-
twice. I
okay,
can't.
so you have to call me when titles like that come out.
Oh, so
and
now
say,
we need to call.
Yeah, we have to
Sure,
show
yes,
you.
and say no.
Don't-
This is one you
Well,
should
do you
watch.
have a newsletter?
No,
We do have a
we
newsletter.
do
Okay,
actually.
I didn't ask for a newsletter. I asked for a call.
All right.
Hey.
All right. Well, you should watch Dolomite Is My Name. It's
Okay.
not a Dolomite movie. It's,
Okay.
It's about Rudy Ray Moore.
Okay, all right, then I'll watch it.
What's our girl's name? Just won the Oscar.
Divine Joy Randolph.
Divine Joy Randolph. This is, if not her first film,
The movie
where
that
many of
definitely
us
put her
saw
on a
her
lot of people's-
the first time.
Okay.
And she's very good.
Very good. And you know who else is very good in that movie? Wesley Snipes.
Wesley Snipes almost steals the movie.
I like Wesley.
He's very good in this.
I'm gonna check this out.
So
I think honestly, to you what you were saying, I think Dolomite is the last time Eddie was in like close to Eddie's speed.
well, I said except for yeah, but yeah. So it's like Dreamgirls, and then Dolomite, but then besides that, he's just
Yeah, because I didn't like Coming to America.
Right.
I didn't think he was good in that.
right. Like you can tell he just
The other sandwich.
it's look. Other sandwich, he realizes he didn't watch
Other
the
half
last
of the
season of
bottom line.
Stranger Things. Like it's so much he could be doing at the house. And in full disclosure, he is my spirit animal. Because most of the time I'm like that. Like I could be at the house right now.
What are you thinking about you could be doing at the house right now?
I am replaying Fallout, which is a video game, and I've built my dream house in the game. So I got to get aluminum so that I can build my hutch to repair my armor. You asked.
I knew not to.
That sounds like one of those games. Nephew was trying to teach me how to play to build the house. I'm like, I'm sorry, nephew.
Right. Yeah.
I can't. I don't understand.
Right.
But okay.
I'm
I-
actually, so like
Look how
I
he's coming
have a
alive.
pool table. And the thing is, it's post-apocalyptic, so a lot of it's just gathering stuff.
Yeah.
So I have a pool table, and I found a rack, but now slowly but surely I'm getting all the balls, so that I can have a full set on the pool table.
The joy on your face is delightful.
Fix your microphone.
He was so excited telling me that.
Oh,
I
yeah.
love
Did
this
you
for
find a cue already as well?
Yes, I have a cue. I have 3 pool sticks. Yeah.
I'm feeling it.
Can I continue?
This is a testament to you all
that he left that.
that I'm here right now.
Yeah, I feel really special.
My wife made a 15-bean soup that I'm eating off of.
I know that's
yeah,
good.
like just a turkey wing
I was
in
gonna
it.
say
With
turkey.
turkey wings, so the meat is
Come on,
right.
yes.
Right.
Wife,
So
Did she make cornbread?
Is there a refrigerator in here? You got a bowl of it over
No,
there?
I don't.
Is there
I-
cornbread with
There's
the
no
beans?
cornbread. I have it over rice. My people from
yeah,
people
yeah,
from
yeah.
like
Yeah, island
Louisiana,
kind of
Alabama.
people.
Yeah,
the rest,
that's
so-
what I am.
Yeah,
beans
so
and
I have it
rice
right over the
all
rice.
day. Yeah.
So
Ooh, shoot.
Miss Moxtail recently and put them over the rice. It was
see,
good.
that's what I'm talking
Listen,
about.
I
Where
carry
your people
cayenne
from, Denise?
pepper.
Antigua and Barbuda.
Okay, my people from Mobile and Louisiana.
See,
that's how we eat it over the
yeah,
rice.
exactly.
That's right.
Can we
People
do
eat
the
them by the
show?
way?
Sorry. Okay. Oh, go ahead, Lynn. I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead, Lynn.
No.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No.
Go ahead, lamb chop.
Go on your own mission. Lamb chop.
We won't tell
I'm
him
sorry.
about the hot
I'll
sauce.
stop
Bag.
watching it. Like too much inside baseball.
Okay, that was our emails, ladies and gentlemen. If you want us to let us know what's going on your mind, have thoughts that you want to share with us, you can email us at micheauxmission@gmail.com. That's micheauxmission@gmail.com. Can't promise that your email will be read, but keep them coming because we read each and every one.
We do and appreciate them. Thank you so much.
All right. And now it is time for the top 5.
Who's your top 5? My top 5 is. 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 My top 5 is.
Somebody on there said hello, Denise, and I don't know which one, but hello from us. She had it.
It was D-E-N, so you be knowing people. I hide in the shadows.
It was meant for both of us, though.
Oh, was it an overall, Denise?
Okay.
We're continuing.
Oh, sorry.
Top 5, ladies and gentlemen, where I give Vincent and Denise a list, and they share their scintillating commentary on it. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight, keeping in theme, we are going to be reviewing Origin, the film by Ava DuVernay, starring Aunjanue Ellis-Taylor, that is based on the book Cass by Isabel Wilkerson. And it is a movie that tells a story about basically a nonfiction book. So there's a lot of the movie that doesn't match the book.
Yes.
Right.
And what I have here are my top 5, not necessarily the top 5, but my top 5 movies that ain't the book.
Okay.
Okay.
Differ a little bit.
All right.
Okay? All right. Starting at number 5, we have The Jungle Book from 1967, the animated film.
It's not the book.
It is not the book. It is no surprise that the Disney movie is on the list. They often take darker stories, such as The Little Mermaid, and twist them to have happy endings, The Jungle Book being such a one. The animated story by Disney is overall cute. This is because Disney told the design team to ignore the tone of the book and just focus on making the story as upbeat and fun as possible. In the book, you see a lot more animalistic nature of the animals. Though they call themselves people of the jungle, they are distinctly animals following the laws of the jungle. So it's a lot more danger with the tiger that is infused on this little boy in the book. You do not see in the animated film, The Jungle Book. Are you fans of the movie, The Jungle Book?
I can't say.
There were several versions of the Jungle
Yeah,
Book
I can't-
movie. There was one that the Disney one that you're talking about, and there are things about it I liked and things I didn't because of the racism and whatnot that are part of those kinds of films. And the one I saw another one, I guess about 3 years ago. I don't know.
Right, the kind of like computer animated one.
I didn't finish watching it.
Okay.
I didn't want to.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I
It
liked
was well shot. It was well edited. But I just wasn't interested in that particular evolving love story.
I feel you.
You know, I like the cartoon, and, you know, I think all of those Disney live action things are just money grabs.
They are. And
So,
no doubt. Number 4.
okay.
Staying in the world of animation, from 1954, Animal Farm. Animal Farm, an animated movie, was supposed to tell the story of the book written by George Orwell, like The Lord of the Flies. It was meant to be a piece to describe the Russian Revolution in ways that anyone could understand, even without knowing any of the history. The animated film didn't exactly have the same goal in mind, however. During the Cold War, the CIA actually funded the movie as anti-Soviet Union propaganda. This meant that a lot of the story had to change, most notably the ending. The ending of the movie was much more uplifting, showing an overthrow of the pig Napoleon. Meanwhile, the book was darker and more tragic, as the book revealed that the pigs were no longer distinguishable from the humans.
That's right.
I do remember that because I read the book. I
Yeah,
read the book
yeah.
in school.
I don't remember the cartoon changing the ending, but I realize I probably haven't seen the cartoon since I was a kid. Because, like you said, it's one of those books that you just read the book, and it's, you know, it's like that nice sweet spot when you're like 12. It's like, ooh, it's a grown-up book. I can read this.
Right.
Yeah.
I liked it. I don't know why I've always had a weird fascination with Animal Farm. Like, I enjoyed it as a kid, and then years ago, I think either TBS or TNT did a like
Right,
quote
like
unquote
the-
live.
Yeah.
Action.
That was pretty good.
That was actually pretty good.
Yeah, because it was scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't do scary.
Okay.
What?
Way my nerves are set up.
That's fair.
I live alone. I'll be at home bugging out. I can't.
That's fair.
I'm like, did anybody hear that? It's just me. I'm just talking to me.
That's fair.
Okay. All right, number 3.
Number 3.
This is the last one that's in the world of animation, but it kind of blends the two.
Okay.
From 1988, Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
I did see that.
Called Who Censored Roger Rabbit in book form, Who Framed Roger Rabbit is an interesting movie that talks about the world if cartoons and real life combine. Though it has cartoon characters, it is a very adult-oriented movie that focuses on sharp and often harsh realities. While it has a mix of some sexy characters, it doesn't really match the book. This isn't entirely the director's fault. The book is weird. It doesn't quite live up to what the author was trying to do, creating a balance between science fiction and real life. He also tried to add a little mystery and several subplots going on all at once. And while the director liked the idea of pushing the boundaries between animation and real life, the plot wasn't super useful or movie adaptable, so he threw it out and went with his own stories instead so that he can make that blending of all the different characters and make a lot more of those fun little Easter eggs that we remember the movie for happen.
What year was that?
1988.
Yeah, I think I had to watch that movie.
Sneak to watch Roger Rabbit?
Because Jessica Rabbit, she was just a ba-boom, ba-ba-boom, ba-ba-boom. And, Mary
She's just
Lou wasn't
drawn that
playing
way.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, she was. Do you remember this? There was this was back in the days of Laserdisc. That when the movie went out on Laserdisc, like some of the animators had slipped in like real
Oh, that's
sexy
right.
scenes of her.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I don't remember
So
that.
there's a
I didn't
scene.
have a laser disc.
I was going to say, we didn't have that.
There's a scene where they're all like in the taxi, that talking taxi,
Yeah.
and I think it like rides into some dip or something, and tires blow, and they all get knocked out onto the like the side of the road. On a laser disc, if you slow it down, as the nerds will, Jessica comes bounding out of the car, bounds out of her clothes, up on a tree that kind of like, has her way a little bit with her, and then bounces back into her clothes so that she still matches the last scene.
I am clutching my invisible pearl. My goodness. No, I didn't see any of that.
You slowed that down, huh?
A couple times.
It's just what Tipper Gore was talking about.
You were treated like you were a DJ.
I've read that somewhere.
Right.
Research.
So I heard.
Research based.
Right.
So I
He
heard.
researched it for the list.
Research based.
Don't only
That's
research.
right.
It's research.
That's right. We take this very seriously.
Yes. Yes. Number two.
Number 2.
From 2004, I, Robot.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Will Smith stars in this action sci-fi as Del Spooner, a detective who harbors a strong distrust of robots, particularly after an apparent suicide of a robotics scientist, Dr. Alfred Lanning. The movie is loosely based on a short story collection of the same name by Isaac Asimov, but it uses few of his ideas. While some scenes are taken from Asimov's stories, the plot is wholly original. I, Robot has virtually nothing to do with the book, but some say that it is still fun as hell.
Yeah, we talked about iRobot, talking about your little nerd hearts. It enraged the nerd in me, like the 13-year-old version of myself who loved those short stories. Yeah, iRobot is a mess when you compare it to those short
But
stories.
only in comparison to that.
Right. And really, not to go too far down that rabbit hole, when you look at the development of it, they weren't even going to call it
I know, they're
iRobot.
gonna call it something totally.
Yeah,
What are they
they
going to call it? Do you know?
just random Will Smith vehicle that Will Smith's people were in a room and the studio's people were in a room, and they said, let's make a deal. And then they said, well, this has name recognition. And they basically rented the name.
See, I never read the short stories. I'm
Yeah.
curious now. But
they're
but I
50s
really
sci-fi.
enjoyed the movie.
Yeah.
It is why I don't have an iRobot vacuum cleaner.
Baby.
Oh, really?
I'm
Siri
serious.
off in the
I'm like,
house.
oh, heck no.
Siri, don't say nothing to me.
Well, that's
will
why
not.
I talk nice to the stuff. Like I talk nice to
Yeah.
Siri. Like I say thank you. to
Siri can
like,
mess your whole
So
life
really?
Turn
Right. If
around.
things go left,
Yeah.
I want our robot
She'll vouch for
overlords
you.
to
Yeah.
know
This one's
that
right. This is my human.
Right.
No,
Right.
Yeah,
So,
Don't play with Siri or none of them.
Me neither. I don't have no.
And
See?
it's
Bad
because of
nerves.
that movie.
It's all because of iRobot.
It gelled it for me, yes.
that's fair.
Okay. All right. See, here's the thing, though. If you were a fan of, was it The Matrix? Yeah, The Matrix. And remember, Vincent, remember when they put out the shorts of the Matrix?
Yeah, the Animatrix.
The Animatrix. And correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't it one of those shorts where you see how society turns against the robots?
Yes.
And you would understand. I would understand.
Right.
Why they
You're on the robot side. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. They turn against the robots hard. And so
Now, if this were a few generations earlier, more than that, maybe 100 years earlier, and the robots were enslaved people,
Well, that was the whole Isaac Asimov.
was that whole
thing.
uprising?
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah, all of those dudes.
Yes.
We can't say black people and we're writing civil rights, so we just take
Yes.
out black people and replace them with robots.
Now I really have to read the short stories. Thank you.
Yeah.
all right. And number one,
Number one.
another Will Smith movie. This one from 2007, I Am Legend,
Yeah.
which was originally a novella by Richard Matheson about a man who was one of the survivors of a world where vampires had taken control and wiped out most of the humanity. The movie was about the same idea, but the two told very different stories. In the movie, Will stars as Robert Neville, a virologist who was trying to find a cure to save the world and spent much of the movie slaughtering vampires where they slept. He was a hero in this movie trying to find a cure. In the book, it was completely different as he was a killer and the vampires lived in fear of him, the new monster.
Wow.
Totally different
Yeah.
read on that.
Because the studio chickened out. We actually talked about, like, they actually have an ending in the movie that has that twist that you realize.
Where you discover that
you
he's
realize that he's been a serial killer the whole time against this new life form. They did the test audiences, and audiences couldn't believe that Will Smith could just be violent out of nowhere, and so they changed the ending to.
That was pre-slap.
Well,
That was pre-slap.
Yes.
The irony is that they're supposedly working on a sequel that retcons
Kinda
the
like-
ending that says, because in the movie version that came out, spoiler, he dies at the end.
Right.
So he sacrifices himself because he's a hero. But in the original ending, he realizes that he's a monster and then, basically goes away and tries to reform. And they're saying that the sequel is going to use the original ending.
So how they gonna bring him back to life?
Well, they're saying that what you saw in the movie
Yeah, he was a
didn't
dream.
actually happen, right?
He was gonna walk out.
I'm assuming at
That's the
some
soap
point
opera stuff
Patrick
that
Duffy
was.
is going to be in a shower,
Yeah.
and he's going to stick his head out and say, "Hey, how are you this morning?" And she's going to say, "I had the weirdest dream," and then we're going to pretend that.
Did you slap Chris Rock?
Right. I had the weirdest
After the
dream.
slap, they're like,
Right.
you know what? We can have him.
Right,
Yes,
right,
it's
right. So,
We can sell that.
So that was our top 5, ladies and
all
gentlemen.
right.
Thank you. Hope you enjoyed that. Send your emails to Vincent, not me. All right. Coming up, where it's time for the Game of Kings.
That's right. It's continuity between the novel and the movie.
6 Degrees of Dervell Martin.
That's the key. Why, you'd be surprised what a person can do with just a sensitive touch and a sensitive sound.
I think he cued you.
He did cute. But I don't acknowledge it now because he needs to move himself back here. 6 Degrees of Derville Martin, ladies and gentlemen, where I give Vincent and the Denises two actors, and they have 6 movies or less to connect them to Derville Martin, who is a book and a movie all into himself.
It's a multimedia experience.
Yes. Are you familiar with
about?
Derville Martin? Is an actor who stars in pretty much every 70s
Right,
black
he's in a lot of
exploitation.
movies. So, and we said, you know what, he's in everything.
Got a
We
picture
can,
of him?
we can probably connect him to
I can bring
anybody.
a
And
picture
Lynn
of
said,
him.
I don't believe you can. And then that's what
This
we
is
did.
how it.
Yet, even though he is in every one of those movies, he also shows up strangely in movies such as
Rosemary's Baby.
Guess Who's Coming
Guess
to Dinner.
Who's Coming to Dinner. Well, give me the person while you're looking up the picture.
There is Derville Martin. And just another piece of trivia. In Dolomite, My Name is Dolomite, Wesley Snipes plays Derville Martin. Because Derville Martin,
can see Wesley Snipes with that haircut.
Yes.
He's an actor.
I don't remember his face.
but once you see it,
For us.
Yes.
you'll never forget it. All right, Vincent.
All right,
Now,
what we
if
got?
you did Huggy Bear, then I can. Anyway, no.
Antonio Vargas.
Exactly.
All right, Vincent. In 6, keeping in theme,
Keeping in theme.
we are going to be reviewing Origin tonight. So, Origin is off the table.
Okay.
In 6 movies or less,
6 movies or less.
connect Derville Martin,
2.
John Bernthal.
Oh, damn. The 2 big things I know him from are TV.
Yes, but he has quite a filmography. A little bit of, not super long, but it's a notable filmography.
What was he in before Origin?
Other movies.
Okay. Yeah, he's got quite a filmography here.
No, that's not him.
Let me see this for a second. I'm trying to see if there is a movie that there's definitely a movie that I know you've seen that he was
I was gonna say that one. Yeah.
that he was in?
Is he thinking about that, or is he thinking about a sandwich?
I think he's actually thinking about the movie. Well, he said the beans. The beans with the
Wasn't
He's
he one
thinking
of
about
those
the
Captain Americas?
He was not in Captain America. He's not. He hasn't been in a Marvel movie. He's only been in a Marvel
Right, because
television.
he's Punisher.
If I give you this movie, it'll be too easy, Vince. So I don't want to give that.
Well, then give me the other movie.
Let me think. This is another movie. Did you see The Accountant?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's got what's his name? Ben
Affleck.
Right?
Yes. It's actually a good movie.
It
a
is.
good movie.
They're making it a sequel.
All right.
I could see that.
It's good.
We'll use that then. Because Derville Martin is in 5 on the Black Hand Side. We'll use my movie. We'll use my movie from a couple weeks ago. I like to talk about this movie. Derville Martin is in 5 on the Black Hand Side with Dick Anthony Williams. Dick Anthony Williams is in Mo Better Blues with Cinda Williams. Cinda Williams is in One False Move with Michael Beach.
Right.
Michael Beach is in Aquaman
Yes.
with Jason Momoa. Jason Momoa is in Justice League with Ben Affleck, who's in The Accountant.
Very good.
With
You
John.
got there just in time.
Yeah,
That was impressive.
yeah. What was he in that I would know?
King Richard.
You know, I still have not seen King Richard.
you saw it.
I still have not seen it. I know. Don't look at me like that. You didn't. You just saw Friday.
Yeah, Denise,
You have
can't look
no
at
ground
anybody.
to stand on.
I'm trying to toss all the shade over
Right.
there.
It's not-
Hey, what was that?
no.
The look of horror.
Hey, don't get fired on your day off. See, you just got that reference.
Oh, you mean bye, Felicia?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
You had no idea.
Had no idea.
Right.
I just liked it. Okay.
It is one of those movies that you'll know all the quotes, so you feel like
Right. You feel like
I
you saw it
need to
even
see
though
it.
you
It's a
didn't.
culture. It's
Yeah.
in the culture. It's like
I saw
woven in.
sections of it.
Sure.
Like you just got knocked up. I knew that
Yes,
one and
yes.
a few of them.
Yeah.
And the hide and the jewelry. But I just had never seen it from beginning to end.
My grandmama gave me that.
He gonna cry when he gets to the car.
very good, Vincent.
All right.
That was
impressive.
impressive.
All right, we got one more for you.
Love it. Yeah. Make some money.
One more for you, Vincent.
All right. Who we got?
You should go on Password with Keke Palmer.
Okay.
It'd be fun.
All right.
Okay,
I would watch.
It's got good word association. It's good association.
you gonna make that happen?
I'll call my people.
All right. You go.
All right. All right.
Who we
All
got?
right, Vincent. In 6 films or less, connect Derville Martin to also in origin. It's gonna be this might be your blind spot.
Who?
Vera Farmiga.
Who is that? Can I see her picture?
glad
Like,
it's
who
not
is
just
that?
me.
But it was the way he said it.
Oh, come on, man. Is she in stuff?
She's in origin.
No, besides Origin.
Yes.
How many scenes?
Remember, she's like one of the newspaper managers.
She's her editor.
You're right, the editor.
Party and then
She's in quite a few movies. She is actually one of the stars of a movie that I know you have at least seen 2 of, if not all of them.
Which one?
No, you've seen 1, 2, at least 2 of them. I know you have seen. We have talked about them.
The star?
Yeah, she.
Who does she play in the movies?
She's one of the stars. Yeah, she is.
What movie, Lynn? Because I don't believe you. I don't believe you. I'm telling you to your face. What movie is she in that she is one of the stars that I've seen 2 of them?
See, when they do the hand and lean forward, it's a.
Because I don't believe them.
That's when you're serious.
It's the truth. It's the truth. She was in Godzilla, King of Monsters. King of the Monsters.
Wait, is she Millie Brown's mom?
Do you really need to know that? She's in the movie.
Okay. All right.
Have you seen the movie?
Yes.
Was I right?
I mean, I guess. I mean, it's a Godzilla movie.
If either I was right or I wasn't, Mister, I don't believe
Got the
you.
chin up.
You're actually wrong.
That's only because he.
What,
got
did
the
you see the
arm.
movie?
No, I did see that she's one of the stars in the movie.
She is one of the stars. No, she's not the name star.
No,
but
she's not the name star at all. She's not even the name human star.
I know.
No, she's not. Millie Brown is over her. What's the brother's name from Atlanta?
Kyle from Atlanta. Oh, Brian Tyree Henry?
Brian Tyree Henry is billed over her.
No, he's not. No, he's not. Not in King of the
Breaking
Monsters.
Bad is billed over her.
That Breaking Bad dies in the first one.
Okay, Friday Night Lights is billed over her.
That's the only other one. That's the only other person billed over, billed over her.
But okay, fine. So
So you just can't give it to me.
no, because she's not one of the stars.
She is one of the stars.
She's just in the movie.
Dylan, is this what it happens? Dylan.
Dervell Martin.
Dude, she's no. Come on, let you get away with that. In order: Kyle Chandler, Friday Night Lights, Vera Farmiga, and Millie Bobby Brown. In that order.
They just listed alphabetically.
Brown.
Yeah, I'm not at all. Stop. Talking about one of the stars in the damn Godzilla movie. Yes, all right, fine. Dervell Martin is sorry, so all right. This is how we're going to do this. You know what? I'm just going to use the same movie. I'm going to go the exact same way.
Okay.
Dervell Martin is in Five on the Black Hand Side with Dick Anthony Williams, who is in Mo Better Blues with Cinda Williams, who is in One False Move with Michael Beach, who is in If Beale Street Could Talk with Brian Tyree Henry, who's in Godzilla with, what's her name?
Vera Farmiga.
Yes.
In Godzilla what?
King of the Monsters.
Ha, you're wrong. Because Brian Tyree Henry is not in that movie.
He's in Godzilla.
He's not in Godzilla.
Okay, he isn't. No, he isn't Godzilla.
No, he's not.
What's the name of the movie, Lynn? Come on, we got stuff to do. What's the name of the movie? You're being pedantic. What's the name
I'm
of the
not
movie?
being pedantic.
What is the name of the movie? Godzilla what? Godzilla colon what words?
It's not Godzilla :1. I'm trying to. It's Kong versus Godzilla. That's the one that he's in. He's in the Kong versus Godzilla movie.
No, he's in two Godzilla movies.
He's not in.
He's in two Godzilla
Let's
movies.
put it this way. He's not in Godzilla, King of the Monsters.
Okay, which one's he in? Godzilla what?
All right, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you. I ain't scared of you.
Right, I just have to look it up.
I gotta look it up because that's not the movie that I have up. He's not the person that I'm working on right now. It's what you always do. Got me jumping through hoops over here. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. We want to get this.
It's easy to talk stuff when you got the Google in front of you.
Bruh. All right, filmography. Brian Tyree Henry.
Oh my God, you had to go to his whole film. Just
Godzilla. He is in Godzilla versus Kong.
Okay, Godzilla versus Kong. Is she in that too?
No, because her character died in the second one, in King of the Monsters.
Okay. Dervell Martin is in get to it quick, because I'll get to Millie Brown. Dervell Martin is in. I want to get to it quick. No. Okay, Derville Martin is on 5 on the Black Hand Side. Dick Anthony Williams. Dick Anthony Williams is in Mo Better Blues. Samuel Jackson. Samuel Jackson is in Iron Man. Robert Downey Jr. Robert Downey Jr. is in Tropic Thunder with Tom Cruise.
I think I know who you're trying to get to.
That's going to take too long.
I think you were there.
No, because I'm going to take Tom Cruise with a cock diesel Superman.
Oh, you can go to Tom Cruise or somebody else.
Not to get to Millie Brown.
Yeah, you can.
Who?
Ken Watanabe.
What's he with? Oh, with The Last Samurai? With Ken Watanabe. And then Ken Watanabe is in what?
Godzilla King of Monsters.
Oh, that's right. Because the only reason they have him is because he has a Japanese accent.
That's right.
And he says Godzilla.
Right.
Like, that's the only reason he's in the movie. All right, Ken Watanabe is in Godzilla with, what's her name?
Vera Farmiga.
Yes, Vera Farmiga. There you go. All right.
I saw your brain working. I saw it from the outside. Yeah, that was
Yes.
still impressive.
Yes.
Very impressive.
There you go.
Well done. All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
That is impressive.
It is now time for our review of Origin. And now I will bring up the information on Origin and read that. There's actually no music playing right now, so they're just watching us do this.
Well, see, since I didn't know we were on TV, I brought notes. I was
Vince got notes.
Look, okay, I don't feel bad then. I was like, I got post-it notes and notes and all kinds of stuff. All right.
Oh, don't worry about it.
Always knows.
We are all ready.
Okay, I don't feel bad then.
The unspoken system that has shaped America and chronicles how lives today are defined by a hierarchy of human divisions are told in a slightly fictionalized story directed by Ava DuVernay. Origin, which debuted in 2023, stars Aunjanue Ellis-Taylor, John Bernthal, Niecy Nash, Emily Yancey, Finn Whitrock, and Vera Farmiga. In a sensational drama that was selected by our guesses, the Denises, for tonight's stop on the Micheaux mission. Denise, what have you to say of Origin?
So much. When we saw this movie, I was not prepared. Like I wasn't prepared for emotions. I went in thinking this was going to be like the book. It was going to be some kind of documentary. I was prepared
read the
for. I didn't. And let me tell you why. Because 2020 was so chaotic when it came out. You know, I work in the space of media, so I was dealing with a lot of imagery coming in, right? Because I deal in the space of photography and video and having to make decisions, watching Black men get killed, people, you know, being beat up and all kinds of stuff. So I was taking all that in real time. So I bought the book because I was like, I want to support this woman. I bought the book and I was like, I just can't today.
Right.
And so when I saw that the movie came out and Denise called me and I was like, oh, say less, let's do this. So when I came in with a space of intellect and ready to take in information. And as soon as I saw the hoodie, I was like, I remember looking at Denise like, what is this? You know, and then I knew like, oh, this is gonna be a ride. That was my first thought, was as soon as I recognized the first scene as to what was happening,
Yeah, right.
I kind of got like a little lump in my throat, right? Because it brings you immediately back to that year, that time, and all the things that go with it. And I thought, what are we about to watch?
Right. Which
Interesting,
was to
what
say,
she was doing in the film is what we as
What we
journalists
did.
often experience. So
Yeah.
she was experiencing it the same way that folks who were doing the kind of work you were doing had to go through it. You had to watch.
right, you couldn't turn away. And what we're talking about at the beginning of the film, ladies and gentlemen, is the dramatization, or more or less, of the Trayvon Martin, and his murder. It is definitely one of those things that you just feel like your hands getting.
I felt my stomach turn because I remember I was sitting on this side of Denise, and I remember going, like, I remember looking her dead in the face, like, and she was like, she was like, this, we're gonna take this ride together. And then I kind of settled back in and you become the witness that you always are, right? Because when there's evidence and then there's excess, right? And so you become a witness when it's evidence. And so I'm like, we're right back in the witness seat.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take this ride because that's what you need to do. But it moved my stomach as soon as I realized what was happening. I was like, oh no.
Because they used the real 911 calls.
Yes.
Yeah.
But even before then, I was like, what am I about to see?
Yes.
Right, the
Because
way
we
she
knew what was
dramatized
about
it.
to happen
Yeah.
to that boy.
Yeah.
Right.
And they showed in the film, you see him in all of the humanity that was lost in the coverage
Right.
Yes.
of what happened to him.
Right.
You saw that boy who could have been my son, my nephew, just getting something from the store, talking to his girlfriend, and it's raining or cold, and you put the hoodie on.
Or he just put his hoodie on.
Yeah.
Just put the hood up.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And it's interesting for those who haven't seen the film or aware of it. It's based on a book by Isabel Wilkerson that takes different moments in history, such as the Trayvon Martin murder, and even going back to Nazi Germany time,
Holocaust, yeah.
the Holocaust, and even go the
In
Mississippi and during Jim Crow era, and just looks at all these different pockets of racism, and then even on a global scale, and then along with looking at what is the root cause of that, because we know that racism isn't just inherent. What is the root cause of racism?
And that's her whole point. When she does cast, she looks at whether or not it really is about racism. Is it about
Right.
racism or is it about something else? And she looks at the Holocaust, she looks at Jim Crow, and she looks at what happens with the caste system in India and says, this is really about caste. Race just happens to be what's applied to it here or the way it's used in the States. But it's all the same thing about having one group of people that is separated from another group of people, and then laws made to keep them separate for whatever the purpose is.
Right.
In the Holocaust, they decided to kill people, but again, they were not allowed to marry somebody who was not Jewish with somebody who was Jewish.
Right.
And the same thing here, and the same thing in India. And so she was trying to say it's not all about racism, it's about caste. Why that's important to her is the big question. And perhaps because if you can see it in a global way, you might be able to take a global approach to dealing with it, and a connectedness between the people who are impacted by it, both those who think they're benefiting and those who are definitely not. So that's what I took from the book. I did read the book.
Oh, okay.
And I did read it in 2020 with a very angry group of Black women in a book club.
Because I remember you saying, do you want to read this book? And I was like, I bought it, but I'm not ready.
Yeah.
And in my head, I was like, I need to be in a space where I can, really take this in. But I wasn't ready in 2020, and it sat on my bookshelf. But when I watched, first of all, I had to go to movies twice, like in the theater. I needed the sound, the whole thing. The first time was so emotional. that I did not expect. And Denise told me, she was like, I heard this could be a little emotional. I was like, girl, I'm good. I schedule emotions on Thursday. I'm good. Like, I was just like, I don't need a tissue, girl, please. But by the she came in and I was like in her purse. So the first one was so like emotional. And I think I just related a lot to her because of the stage of life I'm in. You're dealing with parental stuff. You're dealing with a partner.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of her personals entwined.
And I was not expecting that emotional thread and finesse. The way she did it was such a eloquent way to do it. I had to go see it a second time to look at the filming techniques. The first time, I noticed some things, but I was overwhelmed by what I saw. And I did not expect that. I felt so I was like, oh man, I get it together, Denise, but I just could not.
I think speaking of techniques, I think one of the first things that she does that magically captures that is that the movie is filmed. Everything is filmed on 16 millimeter film. And it instantly has that. It looks like memory because it looks like you remember like the movies you will watch. So it automatically puts you in a comfortable place because this is what these are the memories that I remember, and then but it's this real stuff that's happening. And that really hits you hard, man.
Well, it's also you've got real facts weaved in with other things. They called it a biodrama in one of the things that I read. And I was like, how smart was that to keep us engaged in this way? Because I think it's such a heavy people get turned off by talking about racism and race, and we did that in 2020. Like, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, right? I feel like Black people don't have an opportunity to be tired and exhausted. I wake up Black, I go to bed Black, I leave the house Black, I get pulled over Black, right? Every Black person has a plan when they get pulled over. I do. I throw my keys, right? It's a whole thing. But I think this was a way to bring people back into the conversation because there's so much woven into it just about life. Right? And I just didn't expect that. I thought I was going to see some hard facts. Yes, you're right. Nicely done, but it had so much life in it.
The relationships were amazing. I mean, the life we talk about is with it focuses on Isabel, and it's got her mom, that relationship, and dude who had Black man swagger without trying.
Her husband.
Yes.
Brent.
Her cousin. Oh my God, that relationship. I know that. I personally know that relationship. So she magically gave us some reality through these characters, these people. And I think that's part of what made it a little bit easier for her to deliver the things that she talked about, because we looked at how this woman did the research to write cast and what fueled her in many ways. I thought I've already loved Ava DuVernay. She got another notch from me this time.
Well, you're talking about her as a filmmaker, and I think the beginning scene captured, because as you said, just her control of pacing and tone and iconography. Like, as you said, as soon as you saw him get the candy, as soon as you see the hood, like Ava DuVernay is well aware of what these images mean. And I think, just to backtrack a moment, what this means for her audience that she's aiming towards. I think Ava DuVernay, from film to film, very unapologetically is centering a Black audience. Like, everyone can come see this film, but understand this is my first audience, this Black audience, so that they know as soon as they see this hood, as soon as they see, this young man and they already know where it's going. And I've said this before about Ava DuVernay, whether we're talking about something like When They See Us or Fruitville Station, it's ironically a testament to her filmmaking. I find a lot of it very difficult to watch because she's so good at sort of pulling out these emotions. And like you, I read the book, so I was expecting the book. and how she kind of weaves in Isabel Wilkerson's life is, was so smart, because Isabel Wilkerson is such an interesting, like what I said last night when I finished is like, this, obviously it's a great film, but quite honestly, I wanted to see the further adventures of Isabel Wilkerson, globe-trotting journalist and researcher, and sort of, what's like. I wish they had made a movie adaptation of her first book, where I like, like I wanted to see her in these libraries in the South and pulling these archives out.
Maybe she will,
right? Because it's, I thought it was this really interesting tension in a film about caste and about how we all kind of navigate this caste system and racism and sexism, because she's a Black woman, but like her personal life. God. She has, outside of all of the tragedy and challenges that she has to face, just as you said, just at this moment in your life, just aging parents and just the age that you are, your peers are going through health crises. But she has, these beautiful clothes. She gets to travel. She goes to 2 wonderful parties. Yes. And it's like, wow, she's actually really kind of cool. Yeah, so I love that tension.
Yeah, but even when she went to those wonderful parties and she dressed up, right? There's some masking there, right?
Absolutely.
So she stood outside when that I think it's a medium shot or a close-up shot of her taking that deep breath. I was like,
actually
Jesus.
begins to smile.
Yes, right? She puts the mask on and she walks in, and I was like, my God. Like, it was just such, that's why I said it's so familiar, right? Of being in spaces where you need to be careful how you phrase it in order for people to receive it, right? So when she goes to pitch her idea, she's like, she's pitching it a certain way, obviously differently than what she would tell her sister cousin, right? And that conversation that they had. But it is the mask that we wear. It is the costume that we wear in these occasions where we have to communicate in a certain way in a certain space to get done what we need done.
Yeah.
Agreed.
It's interesting. I definitely saw the mask in that, but I also saw the kind of like a little bit of a callback to the earlier party that you saw her with, because she was with her husband at that time.
Right.
And like he was, like she was on his arm.
Yes.
And, he, even though she was talking to the same people, but he was there in the conversation. He kind of like held back because, a little bit, but you could always feel that he was there, and off camera, like she was kind of like reaching back and his hand was there. Yeah. And I felt a lot of that in that moment where she's breathing, or there was another moment where she is about to board the plane.
Exactly.
Yes. For the second time. A lot of callbacks to their relationship. And I thought that was really, really smartly done, because this was actually the second time that I had seen the film. Yeah. And I had remembered John Bernthal being in the movie much longer than he was, but that is how impactful his performance is. He really is gone before the third of the movie is over.
I loved him because, Black, white, or indifferent, the man that a lot of Black women desire is protection.
Yes.
Right? Black, white, or indifferent, he offered her that protection even when the guy was in the in the yard, right? And he would give her a gentle check, and it wasn't like so dominating where you're like, who are you talking to, right? It was just their vibe was visible on screen.
Because what he was protecting was the space for her to be herself. Yes. He was not, infusing like, be yourself.
Yes, and I loved it.
Oh, it was gorgeous. I actually, it's funny watching this film, the scene where she finds, a little bit of spoiler alert, that he's gone. Yeah. Watching this, every time I watch this movie, I'm like, I got to introduce my sisters to this movie.
Yeah.
And then that scene comes up, and you talk about real. That's how my sister found my brother-in-law. And I'm like, this is like,
maybe not.
She might not.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not yet, because but that is a credit to, like you said, the performance of Aunjanue Ellis-Taylor in that moment, and the smart directions of just dead all sound.
Right. They did that in Selma, right?
Mm-hmm.
They did that in Selma. They also did it in Crash. Remember?
Yeah.
He thinks he's
Yes.
getting shot and he screams and there's no sound. Like, I love that technique for film because it allows you to go, right? You can hear the gasp of the audience.
Yeah.
Right?
I
It's
was
just
about to
such
say, in
a.
the theater, that
Yes.
that emptiness of that sound. Yeah.
Yeah, but what I loved about that moment is that she runs to him, and she's tripping over the bed.
She falls over that.
Because it's and that's
It's
the
in the
real.
way.
It's the real.
Yeah,
in
that's
the way.
the
Yeah.
real of it. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, that was that. I mean, it was that moment. There's a moment where, you know, those in between transitions where she's laying on the grass.
leaves,
the
yeah.
leaves.
The thing that almost took me out of here, the thing that almost broke me completely down, was the mother's hand on her face. Because, you know, when I go home, sometimes it's rough. I lay on my mom's lap and she rubs my face just like that, right? And then the repetition of that when the little boy was laying in the grass and she rubbed his face,
yes.
right? And that is such a mama auntie move. When we came in here, you said there was a lot of mama energy, right? But that is such a mom caretaker auntie move, that gentle touch of the
laying on of
hand
hands.
on your face, on your back or something. That just it's you're going to be okay, you know. And that almost took me out of here. It was those little details, you know, that really, you know, that was the emotional part, which is why I had to go back the second time.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I found that I could tell when I was about to lose something. I felt like I was about to lose my mother. I was about to lose my cousin. And so the tears came before the scene for me very often.
yeah.
And it was same as like with Fruitvale Station. And it just felt like she knew how to invite me into moments I've already experienced. But I'm in this theater. I'll still be breathing afterwards, but the breathing may be painful.
Again, that's that Ava DuVernay. She gets you every time.
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't know what kind of foreshadowing it is, but you do. It's like on some level, like on a subconscious level, you feel it
Yes.
before you actually acknowledge it.
Yes.
And then you're there in the midst of it.
When Niecy Nash coughed when they were talking,
Yeah.
I said, oh my gosh, she's going to die.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the tears they started to build up.
But the detail
she
of
even-
having the Schweppes ginger ale by the bedside, I was like,
exactly.
this is so black.
Yeah.
You know, like it's these little details.
Yeah. Oh,
It
yeah.
was like that for what was that movie where she goes to Italy, she falls in love, they adopt a child. What was that movie?
Yes.
It was
the
a
chef.
series.
The chef.
The chef thing. But you know that was done by a
husband
black
was a chef.
producer because the black women are in bonnets.
Right.
You know, there's these little black details that culturally we know, you know, and so that having Ava do this movie was I had that beautiful feeling of like Schweppes, yes, like this is all of this is familiar, all those details. You know?
If I could be missing it, but I think that when Niecy Nash's character coughs, you've already got a sense that there is something wrong.
Wrong, yes.
Right. But what I picked up the second time around is that the hints are a little bit there because she's kind of like on point, strong, you know, cousin in the beginning, but then slowly and surely, like she's at the pharmacy, you know, getting a prescription. And then at the cookout, unexplained, now she's walking with a cane.
Exactly.
You know, it's just that slow deterioration that you're seeing, you know, like if you only focus on the face, she's fine.
Yep.
But then you just look a little bit outside and you're like, something's happening.
And then when she coughs, she puts the oxygen. You're like, wait a minute.
Right, right.
How did we get here?
And Aunjanue Ellis and Niecy Nash are so good together.
Yes.
Yeah.
You just are enjoying them talking to each other.
Right, right.
So-
And you're figuring, like, you know, you've seen aspects of this movie before when Niecy Nash is, cradling her in the bed,
Oh God, yeah.
Yes.
she's like, don't leave. Like, you're figuring, all right, this is going to be the strong one for you for this movie.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And you're like, ooh.
Right. Certainly, you're not going to take the cousin too.
Right.
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 But that's real. Now, I'm curious, how do you think that connected with, well, first of all, 'cause if I understand, that's not in the book.
No.
None of that, all of that, I mean, it's real.
She doesn't go into as much detail about what's going on behind the scenes.
Right,
There's-
her
We
life.
don't learn about her life in the book.
Right.
It is strictly pretty much what she sees and learns as she's doing this research.
So how do you feel the connection was made between the book and what the book is about and her life?
So, just from the little bit of reading that I've done, Ava sat down with her.
Yes.
And tell me what happened, right? And so the creative genius of making that the thread is Ava's gift. I think that's her gift to us, is making this palatable and making this so relatable that you can't look away. So she is kind of her, right? In this anthropology space, where she is unearthing things that, how do you do the things you do, right? Nobody really knows what happens to you when you go home, right? But all those things build up to make you guys what you are.
Right.
And so that was so, very smart of Ava to ask these questions. And then you put a beautiful actress who has this experience to come and bring it to life. So I think that research prior to writing or as she was writing the script was just gold.
Yeah, I love the way she integrated
Yeah.
what was going on behind the scenes and the actual story. Does it mirror the book exactly? No, the book is how many pages? I forget.
It's like 400 or 500
Yeah.
pages.
Yes.
It's a big book.
It was 20 some hours to listen
Yeah.
to on Audible.
Yeah.
So there's only so much of that you can put in a film. And she can do long films well.
Right. But
Okay.
But I think she integrated the story really well. I felt like I understood why she and how she saw those connections. And I also understood her developing relationship with all these folks and her connection to them, to their joy and their pain. When she was in India, I was just blown away by her connections. Even looking at the story of this young scholar who talked about MLK.
yeah.
But my biggest takeaway, if I could, because I don't want to forget this, is the Untouchables and the scene. With him having to be in the crap and then being touched by somebody with oil.
Yeah, that the touchings, that as he's greasing him down with mustard oil, I would imagine just seeing the touch and how he was responding. Like, he puts his head back at some point.
Yes.
And how he's responding to being touched as he is an untouchable. That was just
Powerful
it was
stuff.
Powerful, yeah.
I think it's a good introduction to the book. I think it's,
good point.
the book is so dense and has so much. And, like you said, there's no way, like there's no way you can transfer the book into a movie. Like frankly, you would have had to have done a mini series to cover, because she goes into so much detail with the caste system in the book. Like, she has this wonderful story where Isabel Wilkerson has developed this relationship now. She becomes a scholar who speaks on caste, and she goes to a conference in India with a bunch of Indian scholars who, just by definition, we reject caste. But Wilkerson says, just because of the way they all move, like, she can tell who defers to whom, that she can tell who's in what caste, or rather who was born in what. Like, even if you've rejected it,
Right.
this is just in your bones. And she, goes into so much detail about that. They, they touch on it in the book. It's my favorite. It's my favorite thing that I pull from caste that I talk about every chance I get, where she talks about the Nazis coming to America,
Yes.
basically learning the mechanics of racism from Americans. But they kind of allude to it. But there are two things that the Nazis said yeah, y'all too wild in America for us. Like, I forgot what it's like. So mulatto, which is a word we don't use, but it's biracial. Quadroon is somebody who was 1/4 black. Octoroon is 1/8 black.
right.
But apparently there are terms that go all the way to 1/64
Really?
black. And the Nazis said, yeah, that's too crazy for us.
Y'all gone too far.
Like
y'all gone
that's
too far.
too crazy, and we're Nazis.
Right.
Yes.
The second thing, and they kind of
that
showed it
doesn't
in
stand out
there
for me,
where
too.
they had the picnic around the lynching,
Oh, yeah.
and they were taking pictures. The Nazis said, we want to exterminate the people that we hate too, but this whole public thing that y'all do where you have a party, that's wild.
Yeah, they rejected
We
that.
not doing that,
in the book.
and we're Nazis.
Right.
So it's that kind of level of detail, and she talks about those two wonderful anthropologists, the two black anthropologists.
Oh, yeah.
What
Yes.
they deal with. So obviously in a book you get so much more
Yeah.
detail,
Yeah.
but frankly, if you had to make a movie, much like you all, I really liked the decision to fold Isabel Wilkerson's life into, because like I said, I just wanted to know, like I thought it was such a celebration of her and an acknowledgement of her. So, but you got to read the book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then, why do you think that this film, which famously, you're talking about the book, a lot of studios, they passed on it for Ava DuVernay. She basically had to go to grants and use even some of her own money to get it made, which allowed her the full control that she would want anyway, to make the movie that she wanted and get it out there. Why do you think that the movie, as great as it was, did not get the eyeballs that it deserved?
I think people are emotionally fatigued. And I think it goes back to what I was talking about earlier. I think if you are not of color or of a other, right? I think you have a choice, right? You have a choice whether you can help participate or engage in the conversation or not. I hear people say, Denise, I'm just tired. I need to take a break from this. And I say, okay, take a break and come back. I cannot take a break. Right? And so I think people are emotionally fatigued. Maybe she didn't have, I know she raised like $35 million. So it's not a budget that's going to push like other films. But I think the emotional fatigue of it all. And if you read the book, like me, I was thinking it was going to be more of a documentary
Exactly.
It may
and
not
not.
be
Exactly.
Yeah.
something you're going to go to the movie to see.
Exactly.
Right.
I think it's the kind of movie that doesn't necessarily get the viewership, doesn't get the people in the seats the way some others do, because it is so heavy, or they anticipate that it'll be heavy. I don't think it was as heavy as I thought it would be because it wove her life into it.
Yeah, but it ain't light.
No, it's not.
Yeah, I actually thought I actually disagree with you. Like, I think it was very heavy. Like, I'm not, I don't very lightly use a term like trigger warning, but I do think, much like you all, frankly, I was blindsided by the Trayvon Martin snipper
Right.
at the beginning.
Right.
Like, I was not prepared at all. And then, maybe, you hate to bring your own biography, because I have an 8-year-old son.
Yeah.
Like, the final part with Al Bright and the way, that dehumanizing moment
Yes.
with this little boy.
Yeah.
Like, it's a hard film.
Yeah.
And I don't think,
And that's the closing story.
right, like, I don't, I think people can probably tell by our conversations that we're all admirers of the craft in this film. We are admirers of the story that is being told. But, much like you said, you've had conversations with people, and we've talked about this through the years. Frankly, I grant Black people the space to say, I deal with so much every day that for my own mental, health, there are some things I'm just not going to engage. And I think that was a decision that a lot of people made with this film.
Yeah.
That I just can't deal with this, with everything else that's going on. And, quite honestly, I can respect that because this is a hard film.
Yeah.
I hear you, and I do believe people need to take care of themselves. I think we also need to not close our eyes
Sure.
to opportunities to see whatever our realities are from various perspectives, especially if it can be helpful. Now, does that mean I think everybody should have run out and seen Cast? No, I mean Origin? No, I'm not saying that at all. But I struggle with what's happening when people get tired. Then they don't necessarily go out and vote.
Sure.
And then you wind up with somebody who puts folks on the Supreme Court
Sure.
who overturn things that protect us. So I know it's kind of a leap, but to me, this was not as painful for me as reading the book.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. I had the exact opposite. That's why there are 4 of us up here talking.
Right.
Now, the film was painful. And I cried a lot because it was condensed.
Right.
But in the book, it was very painful to see that this is so obvious.
Yeah.
And we still, no matter how much we show, it's still not enough
Yeah.
for folks to say, okay, let's pivot.
But that's the reason why, despite agreeing with you about people's self-care for themselves, I would say that I do want people to go out and see this film, because I think the idea that it contextualizes about race and looking at it from a caste system and breaking it down more historically and globally, I think that is a lesson that people need to experience, because let's keep it real, more people are more likely to see the movie than read the book.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
So, and I think that while it's a good introduction into the book, I think there's enough of the book to at least get you just thinking, looking at
covers
things
the
a little
ideas.
different.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? And I love the idea at the end talking about the weaving of her life. And it's at the end with the sale of her mother's house and talking about how there's, we all live in this house that has some structure, but
Yeah, I didn't build it, but it's mine to take care of
Right.
now.
gotta take care of.
Yeah, I didn't have slaves, but
Right.
Right.
racism still exists. I got to do something with it.
Exactly, and I loved that, and then her walking out the house and see. I think moments like that are what we need.
Yeah.
And I mean, and I don't mean just every black person. I mean everyone, every white people. It doesn't matter. Everyone needs to. I think needs this movie, because I think the conversation is one that we all collectively need to have.
Look, sometimes you got to take strong medicine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. But with that being said, the question we now have arrived to is, would you recommend that people see
Would I?
Origin? Yes.
Absolutely. I called so many people when I left that theater. I thought it was also smart. She did, what was it called? Seat 16 or 16 seat or
Yes.
something, where you could buy somebody a ticket. Absolutely.
And then they showed the thing at the end where she talked about the film.
Yeah. Did you see the version where she gives like her thoughts, the filmmaker
No, I didn't see
thoughts?
that version.
Okay, so when I went with Denise, she talked before the film, kind of like Scorsese in Flower Moon, and then she talked after.
Okay.
And so she talked after. It was almost like she was taking a few questions. But I love that she had set up that seat 16 or whatever it's called, so you could gift it to people. I called my parents who, they're born in 48 and 49, right? 74 and 75. So I just wanted everybody to see. I wanted to be in discussion about this, but not only because it was well done. Technically, the filming, like we haven't even touched on the transitions, how she did the transitions in the library and the photo from, there are so many beautiful filmmaking techniques, but the content of it, the storyline of it, I wanted everybody to see it so we can have these conversations, which is like, I get that you're emotionally fatigued, but you can't look away. right? And I know there's some Black people that are like, Denise, I can't watch any more of these videos of our Black men getting shot. And I'm like, well, who will?
Yeah.
Right? Who will watch? Who will tell the story if not us? I understand you're fatigued and you can't see everyone, maybe, but don't turn a blind eye to this. Don't turn a blind eye to Haiti, right? Right? So, it's not in the news cycle anymore, right? But it's happening,
Yeah.
Just
right?
a blind eye, journalistically, was turned Palestinians.
So it's I wanted people to be in these conversations. I wanted people to see this film. I want people to still see this film.
Yeah.
So that I want it to show in schools, like I feel like this is one of those films that are conversation starters, and will take you through a cup of coffee or a cup of tea.
Yes.
Right. And that you should be having with your friends.
Indeed.
Yeah, I agree with the schools thing as long as there's some good leadership in the conversation because
Absolutely.
because in these schools they're learning how to deal with active shooter. So if you're going to learn how to deal with active shooter, which is a traumatic thing to think about, let's learn some history and perhaps because this delivers the message of you have an option to do something with this, like you're talking about, were you there to build the house? No, but you live in it and you're responsible for it. So I agree. I think it would be good for older children to see.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, look, it's an important film. It's an important film. It is a film that is necessary, but even just within the context of our usual conversations, at this point, I think it is fair to say Ava DuVernay is a master filmmaker.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So just from the level of, I enjoy film, I enjoy Black film, I enjoy watching the product of someone who has mastered their craft. This is you have to watch Ava DuVernay films, and this is not, this is yet another example of one you have to watch. Aunjanue Ellis is
Stunning.
She's gotten to the point now where it's almost, I always talk about Stevie Wonder in the 70s, where you just sort of took him for granted after a while.
Right.
Like, she's just amazing in every single solitary thing she does.
Yeah.
And she has the singular performance in this film. Like, she's almost in every frame of the film. And she, it's amazing. So just on that level, I think you have to watch this film. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And I want to call out Emily Yancey, who plays her mother.
Yeah.
Oh,
in
yeah.
this film.
Yeah.
She does some amazing work. I know we talked about Leslie Uggams in American Fiction.
Yeah, how about that?
This is another woman who hasn't really gotten her flowers as an actress, but
Audrey McDonald.
Audrey McDonald.
oh, just one little spot. Oh, that story.
And Blair Underwood has on this weird bow tie that somehow, because he's Blair Underwood,
It works.
works.
he pulls it off.
Why does he still look good at this age?
He's a vampire.
Right?
So there you go, Blair Underwood in a tuxedo.
Yeah, you can't.
Vampire. We all know this.
Yeah, so.
He was a pushy editor too. It was like, it takes too long. I'm like, wait a minute, Blair. Hold on.
But that's what a good editor does.
I do. I
Nudging.
do. Yeah.
Nudging.
He's
I'm
wearing
a-
a
I'm a-
bow tie, so we're going to let him have it.
Right.
Oh, because he was wearing a bow tie. Okay. All right. Do you own a bow tie?
I own a bow tie.
I tied one already, but you tie it yourself.
I tied myself. Well,
Okay.
hey, whoa, okay, easy.
He put the uncle voice on.
No, right.
All right, uncle.
No. I follow the James Bond rule of bow ties. Rule 1, get a bow tie. Rule 2, get a beautiful woman to tie the bow tie for
There
you.
you go.
So I just put it on and go and stand in front of, like, it's honey. I don't tie it myself,
But you put it around your
but I
neck
put it
for her.
around. Right.
Very smart.
Okay. Yes, indeed.
Well, that is our review of Origin, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed that. And I hope you have enjoyed spending time on the mission with the Denises.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank
It's
you
a
guys.
pleasure. It's my
Have fun.
pleasure. Absolutely.
If any of our fans would like to get in touch or see more of your works and just talk to you, how can they get in touch with
I am most often on Instagram.
on Instagram?
Yeah, and I'm Danese. So I'm the Denise.
Denise.
Yeah.
Most of mine is just looking at my students' work at this point. Something called PhiladelphiaNeighborhoods.com.
There you
can
go.
see some of their work. So yes, I got to get my personal game up. I look at Instagram. I look at TikTok for hours,
Oh my God, I waste so much time.
but I don't post as much as I probably should.
Okay.
I look at her stuff.
I'm Micheaux Mission. That's what we do. That's what we do. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So that is it. Before we tell you what we're going to be reviewing next week, I invite you to like and follow the Micheaux Mission on all the social media of your choice at Micheaux Mission, that whether it be Instagram, the social media formerly known as Twitter, or Facebook at Micheaux Mission. If you're watching us on YouTube, and I know you are, you can find us on YouTube at Micheaux Mission. Hit subscribe, ring the bell so you're notified when all of our videos goes up, all of our shorts, all of the edited videos and top fives, all the crazy minutia that we put up there on our channel. You can always email the Micheaux Mission. Let us know what's on your mind at micheauxmission@gmail.com. The Micheaux Mission is a proud member of The Podglomerate, thepodglomerate.com. They make podcasts work, such as ours, which films every Tuesday night here, live from Young Junk, Philadelphia's premier video podcast palace here in Manayunk. And if you want to have your podcast shot in one of the amazing studios that they have here, you can't have this one. This one is branded Micheaux Mission. But there are other studios here. And if you want to have your podcast here, then all you have to do is contact our man Dylan at youngjunk.com. That's DYLAN at youngjunk.com. Hurry up, because Denise has already put him on the Rolodex, and she's like, Dylan, look, I want to holler at you.
Business.
And what's your rate, bruh?
I need to see a reel. Which is working.
So make it happen, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Next week, we are going to be, it's going to be April.
It is going to be April.
Yeah.
It's going to be April, which
Coming at
means
you fast.
that is Octavia April here as we celebrate everything science fiction in memory of the late, great mother of Afrofuturism, Octavia Butler.
Yes.
And we are starting off things really fine with a film that was another slept-on film from 2023, I would say, The Creator, which starred one John David Washington.
Yeah.
So,
Looking forward to that, because have you seen it?
I've not seen it.
Me either, and I meant to see it, so I'm glad that we're doing it next week.
Yeah, next week here on the
forward to that.
Micheaux Mission. Do not turn that dial. All right? All right. Until then, he's Vincent, I'm Len, and in parting, we say...
We'll see you when it's time to meet again.